Today we are talking about money questions to ask your boo. You don't want to get too far before you realize that you are a sprinkle girly, but he is a 50-50 guy. When I first said goodbye to my corporate job in financial services to become a certified financial educator, I wrote a couple of articles for platforms that already existed. And one of the topics that always did very well was when I wrote about money and dating, because this is a topic that a lot of us women shy away from, but we absolutely should not. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 10 money questions to ask your partner that are not cringe, that won't feel like you're interrogating him, but I'm going to show you how to ask these necessary questions in a way that would get responses, okay? And if you don't ask him any other question on this list, make sure you ask him question number 8. Because girl, you don't want to be knee deep in a relationship before you find out. Like, that will be heartbreaking. That might cause a lot of pain, and we don't want that. We do not want that. So if you miss all the other questions or you're too shy to ask them, make sure you don't miss number 8. So if this is the kind of content that you want to see more of on the channel, then go ahead and hit the like button. It tells me that you like this video and you want to see more content that would help us women get to the bag, level up financially, and build lives that we love. So let's get into it. Number one is a hot topic. So when you ask him this question, he's not gonna feel awkward or feel like you're just pulling something out of thin air and like interrogating him. There are a lot of conversations online about how finances should be split in marriage. So you can simply ask him this question: how do you approach splitting expenses in a relationship? Are you team 50-50? Or do you want to pay all the bills? Or do you want to pay most of the bills? Or do you want me to pay most of the bills? Like, ask him up front. You don't want to get too far before you realize that you are a sprinkle girly, but he is a 50-50 guy. Like, these situations can be avoided and we can move forward with people who are more aligned with us. And actually, let's have this conversation down in the comment section. I'm going to be down there. Do you believe in 50-50, or him paying all the bills, or you paying most of the bills, or him paying most of the bills? How do you do it in your household? How would you do it if you got married? Like, let us know down in the comment section what your thoughts are about this. The second question to ask is, do you prefer spending money on material things or experiences? Now, a lot of people in the finance space have a lot of opinions about this. Some people are like, oh, it's better to spend money on experiences than to spend money on material things. Girl, it's best to spend money on things that align with your values, what you care about, what you enjoy. Don't let anybody shame you or guilt trip you, because the world is constantly trying to shame women for the things we spend money on. Personally, when it comes to spending money on things I enjoy, I love purses and jewelry. But my husband prefers experiences. He wants us to travel. He wants us to spend time in nice hotels. He wants us to explore new things. I don't care very much for any of that stuff. But the key thing is to set aside money specifically for things that you enjoy. And you want to limit that amount of money. So you and your partner determine how much money you're going to set aside for living, for enjoying, for doing the things that genuinely bring you joy. And it just has to be a limited amount that's premeditated. We don't want to be impulsively spending, buying things, or just going on trips. You want to set money aside specifically for that in a savings account. And when you put money aside like that for a specific purpose, we call that a sinking fund. So it's important for you and your partner to talk about how much money would be in your sinking fund and how he plans to spend his sinking fund money. When you ask this question, the point is not to judge him or for him to judge you. The point is for you to figure out how you would make pleasure work so that it doesn't happen randomly in your long-term relationship. The third question to ask is also a big one. Actually, when I was putting this list together, I pinched myself like, why didn't I make this video sooner? Because these are very important points. These are things that a lot of women maybe don't think about early, but they're things that can come and bite us in the back later down the line. After saying I do and eating jollof rice with your family and friends and just having a good time, you will go back home and live your real life. So Let's ask these questions. The third question is, how do you feel about joint bank accounts versus separate bank accounts as a couple? Now, there's no one size fits all, but there are 5 common ways that couples usually navigate their finances in this way. If you want me to make a full video about this one, let me know down in the comment section. I will be more than happy to make a video talking about the multiple types of financial arrangements you can have in marriage. The fourth question to ask him, this can come up as a joke, right? You can just say, hey boo, if you won $1 million tomorrow, what would you do with it? Now, the reason why you want to ask this question is you want to understand what his priorities are. Like, instead of asking, how do you spend money? Are you a spender or a saver? Do you believe in investing? Like, those things will make him feel like you're interrogating him. Just ask him in a fun way. If you won $1 million tomorrow, what would you do with it? And let him just spill over lunch or dinner. While he's talking, you make notes, okay? You ask yourself, okay, the answers he's giving, do they align with my own values? Like, is that what I would do with $1 million? Or is that what I would want my husband or partner to do with $1 million? If the answer is yes, do your thing. If the answer is a big no, when someone tells you who they are and they show you who they are, you might want to believe them, okay? Okay. But number 5 is, what's the most expensive purchase you've ever made? Now, this one is just a fun one for you to see where his heart is, because the Bible says, where your treasure is, that's where your heart will be. And money is treasure. Like, money is valuable to most people. So the things that you spend a lot of money on would tell me the things that you value the most. So for example, if someone really values comfort and being in a nice house, they might spend a lot of money on rent or a mortgage. If someone really values external validation, they might spend a lot of money on their car or their watch or their clothes. Like, how people spend money would tell you what they value. I'm not saying this for you to judge him or judge yourself, but it's just good to know so you can make an informed decision. Number 6, it's getting juicier. It's getting juicy, girl. Number 6 is, you want to ask him if he's comfortable talking about finances on a regular basis. Remember, the questions we're asking right now are not direct, they're not in his face, but at some point, maybe later down the line, you want to ask direct questions like, do you have investments? How much do you have in your savings? And you should be open about that stuff too, because financial secrecy is actually a red flag. If your partner gets really funny when you talk about how much they earn or what their savings goals are or things like that, and you want to combine your life with this person, girl, that's a red flag. And you don't even need to tell me. I'm going to make a whole video about financial red flags in relationships, because there's a lot of research about this. There are a lot of articles written about it, and I'm just going to condense everything and share with you. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you might want to hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss that video if I make it. Number 7. You want to ask him, how do you handle financial setbacks, or when things just pop up from nowhere? What do you do? Well, how do you take care of those things? It's super important for you and your partner to set money aside every month to cover expenses that you don't know would come up, because life is always happening. Life is always lifing. Like, 1 minute it might be a tire, it might be your phone breaking. I don't want to put negativity into the air, but life be lifing, y'all. Life happens, okay? And that's guaranteed. So what you want to do is to be prepared for when life would life. And you can be prepared by having what we call an emergency fund. And this is just money set aside every single month to meet any emergencies that might pop up. Number 8, this one is a really big one, because it's a big red flag. And if you see this red flag and you don't address this red flag and it pops up in the future, I don't know what to say, because I'm about to share it with you, okay? Number 8 is to ask him, do you think it's important to have a financial plan for the future? There are some people who live life in YOLO mode. Like, they just live for today and today only. But girl, if you're trying to build generational wealth, if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make life better for your kids and their kids, then you need a partner who thinks about the future. I've given you the questions and I've made suggestions this whole time. I'm married. So I'm telling you that you need a partner who cares about the future. If you want to be the one who sets the goals and you have a husband who would actually follow through with the goals, or a partner or a boyfriend or fiance who would follow through with the goals, then maybe it might work for you. But if you don't, if he is set in his ways and he doesn't think about the future, do what's best for you, girl. But I'm rooting for you. Number 9, how do you feel about debt? And what kinds of debt do you think are necessary, if you even think debt is necessary at all? Now, not all debt is bad. Yup, there's debt that we call leverage when you take out money to start a business. That's not bad. There's debt you can take out to buy investment property in the form of a mortgage. That's not bad. But when you get into debt to pay for things that cannot pay you back, that's bad debt. So I'm not saying this is a red flag or not. Like, this is just something worth talking about, because if he has debt, girl, it's going to impact your life one way or the other. Okay, so you want to know more about it. If you have debt, you also want to be transparent about it. Like, everything I'm telling you to ask him, you want to ask yourself the same questions, because no double standards, right? Like, if you want your partner to do something, you should be doing it too. Okay? Okay. And number 10, what is your biggest financial achievement so far? For some people, that might be their college degree or their advanced degrees. For some people, it might be starting a business, it might be an investment, whatever it is. If he says, I've not achieved anything financially, do with that, what you need to do as well. But these are the 10 questions I have for you. If you want me to make more videos talking about money and life, and even bringing my own life into the equation, maybe I might get my partner or my friends and like people in my actual life to talk about these things. If you're interested, let me know down in the comment section. Share this with your single friends, your married friends, your engaged friends, your sisters, daughters, and let's all level up financially. Remember that I'm rooting for you, so please do not stop rooting for yourself. And until next time, please take care.